Hi. Well, where do I begin? Let's start off with the basics. My name is Patrick Russell. I was born and raised in Southern California, Long Beach, California to be exact. All my life, I attended school there, mostly Catholics and parochial schools with those blue corduroy uniforms that got real too hot in the summertime. For high school, I attended St. John Bosco High School in Bellflower, California. Go Braves. I graduated and then immediately attended college. I went to the University of Southern California, Phi Don. I did graduate with a bachelor's in science and accounting. Fortunately, the motto at the time of never letting class get in the way of my college education didn't prevent me from actually walking, although my GPA wouldn't be something that I would want to put on a large marquee. I was burnt out from college. I was ready to get out and was looking forward to making some money. So I immediately accepted a position as a staff accountant at a mid-sized level accounting firm in Santa Monica, California. They placed me in their tax department, go figure. I spent 2 tax seasons, or approximately less than 2 years at that accounting firm, being in their tax department and working under a manager and 2 other partners that were in that department. It was a huge benefit to my career. Up until that point, working in my family's tax practice, most of my clients were running sole proprietorships and small general partnerships, not corporations or LLCs. And so that wasn't the case working at the accounting firm. All of my cases were either big-time corporations or LLCs that were able to open up my eyes to what those tax returns looked like, and I could compare that with what I already knew on the personal side. And fortunately, the partners and the managers that were at that firm were first-class players in the game, and I learned a lot from them, an immense amount, and I owe a lot to that experience, especially later on in my career. My time at that firm didn't last too long, and that was for several reasons, but mostly because I needed to grow up and I needed a new direction in my life, and I just wasn't ready for corporate America 24/7 at that point. Part of it was that burnout factor. I was 23 at the time, and I had lived all of my life in Southern California, and aside from a few family trips to Cancun and local hot spots like that under my belt, I felt like there was a lot of this planet that I needed to see. My dad, Mike, who secretly harbored dreams of me attending West Point and having an illustrious career in the military, all ending with a pinning of a 4-star general rank on my shoulders, he was quick to point out how readily available travel plans could be made while in the employment of the United States military. So based on that sage advice, I found my way to the nearest recruiting office, and it didn't take too long for the recruiter to sell me on that next chapter in my life. I told the recruiter that I didn't want to spend one day in the United States, and that I wanted to serve all my time overseas. To which the recruiter enthusiastically told me, no problem. Well, as true to his word as a recruiter can be, I didn't spend one day of my time in CONUS or in the continental United States. I did spend all of my military days overseas somewhere. My first duty assignment outside of Fort Knox, Kentucky for basic and Fort Jackson, South Carolina AIT, I was sent to Camp Yongsan in Seoul, South Korea. My tour in South Korea lasted exactly 365 days, and I am fond of telling people that it was the fastest year in my life. Being sent to Korea taught me a real important lesson in life, and it doesn't matter where you are, it only matters who you're with and the attitude that you bring with you Fortunately, I was assigned to a great chain of command, great section leader, all the way up from platoon commander to the division commander. There was good times from all angles, and of course things couldn't have lasted for too long, and it didn't. September 11, 2001, I was in South Korea, and it was approximately 2 o'clock in the morning when the news came through from CNN and Fox News that planes had crashed into the World Trade Center. And it got our commanders really excited. So we were outside Seoul, Korea, in one of the smaller forests that are actually available close to the city. And we were doing some training exercises and pretending to be infantry soldiers for the weekend. And it was a surreal night that once the word came down that we were being attacked, that it was now necessary for us to take a much more aggressive and real posture towards anybody that may be doing us any harm. And so driving back in a big convoy to the base and looking at everybody in a strange way became very clear, and we realized very clearly that from that point forward, nothing in a military career was going to be the same, and that was true. Our security posture had gone up, bases got locked down, training took on a more serious tone, and it took a while before the general anxiety that we all felt subsided, but it did last for most of my time that I had left in Korea. So immediately after my tour in Korea, the orders came down for me to be sent directly to Germany, where I ended up spending approximately 3.5 years of my life working as a finance soldier, managing what those bases call their dispersing section. But another way of looking at a dispersing section is that it's just an overseas bank for the United States soldier, right? We've got a vault, we got money in it, and we also got a customer counter that provides support for the soldiers that would have a problem on their paycheck. And just like every other soldier overseas, I took the opportunity to use all those long weekends for traveling and sightseeing. I spent a lot of my time serving our country, checking out all of the tourist traps located around Europe, in countries like France, the UK, Spain, Prague, that's Czech Republic, Romania, Turkey, and a few other places that I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember. After a while, you do get the sense that you've seen enough castles and cathedrals and priceless works of art to last a lifetime. And so the time came and went. I did get deployed several times, but fortunately, most of my deployments were either not in hot spots or in hot spots that turned out not to be hot spots, that turned out to be vacation spots. In 2005, a big fork in the road came about. My time in enlistment was coming to an end, and I needed to make a decision if I was going to re-enlist. And it also was the same year that my dad told me that tests came back confirming that he had cancer. And he asked me to get out of the military and come back to California so that I could take over the family business, because he didn't think he was going to do it anymore or be able to do it anymore. And so I did make that decision. I honorably discharged and flew directly back to California, where I ended up taking over the business as well as anything else that I could, so that I could remove as much off of my dad's shoulders as I possibly could. Ultimately, he passed away in 2007. I formally took over the business in 2006, incorporated it, gave it a new flashy name, and I've been a president of the company ever since. Over my career, I've earned the title of an enrolled agent, which simply means that I have a certification license to represent clients in most levels and stages of an audit and audit representation. This allows me to stand in front of the man and in between my clients whenever a letter comes through the mail. I typically handle anywhere from 4 to 6 audit engagements each year. Now those are the in-person engagements where I have to actually sit in front of somebody. That doesn't account for the correspondence audits, aka those audit letters that come in the mail, and they simply are requesting a list of documents to substantiate or prove some of the bigger items on that client's tax return. I have a lot of experience dealing with the IRS agents on all levels. I've also dealt with a lot of other taxing agencies, especially in the state of California, that be a franchise tax board, California Department of Taxes and Fees agencies, otherwise known as a Board of Equalization, sales tax guys. I work with workers' comp. I deal with, on the Arizona side, I deal with the Department of Revenue as well as the Economic Department of Security. These are all agencies that have different set of rules and different gravitational forces that motivate their cases, and knowing what approach works best with each agency goes a long way. I try to provide a one-stop shop for my business clients, a suite of business tools and activities, providing my clients with whatever support they may need to lift their small or medium-sized business off the ground. In 2016, it became clear to me that the direction of personal service consultants like myself was going to go online, that we were going to be moving in that direction. And so the need to digitize our records and be comfortable working remotely became very clear. And so starting then, we began planting the seeds, buying the equipment, digitizing, scanning documents, working through an email or secure web portal that allowed us to have the seeds planted, if you will, for what eventually took place in 2020 with COVID-19, and having to, of course, move from a brick and mortar tax office to an online remote operation. The saying goes that you can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs. That couldn't be more true for transitioning from a business that was working in the old school way to working in a brave new world. Google Meeting, FaceTiming, Zooming. We've taken the time to work with all of these applications to be comfortable in those arenas so that we can make the process for our clients in tackling whatever needs they may have much easier and more efficient. As we move forward into the great unknown, COVID-19 and our new way of life will dictate a lot of the direction of where mmtaxman.com will go. We're always searching for a better, smarter way of doing things. And it's exciting knowing that with the new needs that we all have will come the new solutions, whether it be through technology or different protocols or some other method to make ourselves more valuable to our clients. We're always open to new ideas. And so as we venture off together into the future, please know that here at mmtaxman.com, we're always learning, we're ever vigilant, and always curious. And hopefully those traits will serve you and serve our company well as we look to do things in a much better and faster way. As always, if there's any questions, feel free to email me at patrick@mmtaxman.com. I do appreciate the time that you're watching, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.